Lindsay Coyle, and I work for 60 Minutes. This evening, we will be interviewing General John Packard, a general in World War II during the time of the Japanese-American internment camps. These Japanese-American internment camps was the forced relocation and incarceration in the camps and western interior of the country of between 110,000 and 120,000 people of Japanese ancestry were arrested and put into these camps. Now we will go meet General John Packard. Hi John, how are you today?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Have a seat.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome. So, you were general in World War II?
Yes, I was.
Okay, well, let's get to the questions. So, what was your first reaction to President Roosevelt's Executive Order 9066, which was the order that all Japanese Americans be put into these camps?
Well, at first, when I lost a lot of friends in Pearl Harbor, and so I really was kind of happy that they were putting these Japanese in different area, American Japanese. But then I had to go to the camps. And when I went to the camps, a lot of these people were innocent. And here they were being put into situations where it was not very comfortable. They had a lot of people jammed into these camps. So it just made me feel badly about that.
But before you felt like it was well-deserved for them?
Yeah, because we were going to keep them in one place.
Okay. So in these camps, the Japanese Americans, they did a lot of activities and jobs. What kind of?
Yeah, well, what happened was they found things that they could do that would help the local areas. So they would either make license plates for cars or do things like that. And even to the point of putting them into farms, sending them out to local farms to work. And so they had given them an opportunity to earn about $5 a day.
Okay. What about the children? What did they do?
Well, the kids had to have school. So they would get teachers come from the area and give them, have them come in and teach the children.
Did you feel like that was good for the children?
Yeah, I think it helped them out, and it continued to make them. I'm sure that they weren't happy being in that situation. Their parents probably weren't happy because of the activities that they weren't able to do themselves.
So, how could you describe these Japanese American camps?
Well, they were quite busy. They had military barracks, so it wasn't really a nice, comfortable home. I mean, most of these Japanese had come from homes that they lost. So they were put into the barracks that had anywhere up to 4 families in a barracks, which made it difficult. It was not easy living for them. And so they just had a lot of things that that weren't good for them.
Got it. So who were these camps mainly run by?
Well, the Immigration and Naturalization Service were the people that ran them. And sometimes things would not be too well handled because some of them could get loose, the people could wander off. But most of the time they checked on them and made sure that they stayed in the areas.
So you were one of the generals that...
Yes, we had to make sure that they were going to be maintained in those areas.
So what would you do if a Japanese American were to get away? What would you do?
Well, most of the time we had the Immigration and Naturalization group look for them, but they would find them and bring them back most of the time.
Okay.
It wasn't our job to go look for them.
Okay. So, how many would you say of the Japanese Americans were interned? How many?
Well, there were about 110 to 120,000 in those camps, and so it made it very crowded. And but they still were able to do things, and of course the Japanese didn't necessarily like their crowding, but it was the way that they had to handle it.
Yeah. Awesome. So, why did these Japanese Americans get put into the camps? Did they do anything?
Well, most of them were very innocent people, but because of the fact that the Americans in the U.S. didn't like the people living in the streets or with them, they took them and put them in these camps so that they could control them. And it wasn't nice, but that's what they did. It was the way they were able to keep them under control.
So, were the people afraid of these Japanese because they were they?
Well, they were the Americans were afraid that they were going to be doing things to them, sabotaging their places of work. They were afraid that they were going to be spying on them and passing things back to Japan. So and then making it easier for the Japanese to come over to America. But and of course that's why they put a lot of the Japanese into the camps.
Okay. So, what was the aftermath? What happened after the war? What happened?
Well, eventually the people were let go. They after the war stopped, they opened up the camps and liberated. Now the problem was that a lot of these people lost their homes before. They were taken from their homes, and their homes were sold out from under them. So the people had to find places to go, and it was difficult. Of course, that's why you have a lot of communities, because they felt that they had to stay together, because they still didn't feel 100% free. And but that's what now. And then in 1988, the government apologized to the Japanese about keeping these people under control. But of course, then the damage was already done in a lot of cases.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you for coming today.
Oh, my pleasure.
So, how old are you?
I'm 80 years old.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I was young in the Second World War. Very young. Probably 8. No.
It's okay, John. It's okay. Well, thank you for coming today.
You're
You're in
very
great
welcome.
shape. And
Thank you.
it's our camera, our awesome Carl. Thank you for the taping of our 60 minutes.
So are we going somewhere like there?
Oh! Yeah, we are! Thanks for watching.